Vice President JD Vance says he wasn't too happy about an Israeli parliament symbolic vote that took place on Wednesday.
In a narrow 25-24 passage, the bill was in support of Israel annexing the West Bank. The AP says this was an apparent attempt to embarrass Netanyahu while Vance was in the country.
Here's what Vance had to say about the gesture.
What I would say to that is when I asked about it, somebody told me that it was a political stunt, that it had no practical significance. It was purely symbolic. I mean, look, if it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel. That will continue to be our policy. And if people want to take symbolic votes, they can do that. But we certainly weren't happy about it. Thank you.
Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu seemed to agree with Vance's sentiment, saying in a statement, quote, "The Knesset vote on annexation was a deliberate political provocation by the opposition to sow discord during Vice President JD Vance's visit to Israel. Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia were among over a dozen who rebuked the vote."
President Trump also addressed the West Bank issue in a Time magazine interview published Thursday, saying in part, quote, "You can't do that now. We've had great Arab support. It won't happen because I gave my word to the Arab countries. It will not happen. Israel would lose all of its support from the United States if that happened." Vance said before leaving Israel that reconstruction in Hamas-free areas will begin soon, but it might take years considering the damage that has been done.
I mean, everything is so fragile right now with, the hostages returning home recently and how to reconstruct Gaza and how to put displaced thousands of people in any type of semblance of normalcy in their lives. And I think that, to have this happen at the same time that JD Vance was there when President Trump is adamant about this moving forward and even asking for a Nobel Peace Prize because of this, I think that we need to understand that that should be off the table and that should be clear to everybody under Benjamin Netanyahu, because it took so long to even get a resolution, which I commended the president for in this situation, that he finally put an end to a war that many people were kind of like wanted to end way earlier. And I think that JD Vance was, standing firm in that we don't have to do anything that Israel is asking us to do. The United States has an option to fund Israel in all of its ventures and endeavors. And if they're just going to be disrespectful when we come there to prove some political point that they want to move to the right of, or not even to the right, to another direction than Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed upon, I don't think that's appropriate when so many, like he said, Arab nations have come together to make this next phase work. And we're all watching as even headlines come in over the weekend to see like how fragile this is, what may happen, is any aid pausing, are any hostages that are deceased not being delivered home, what's the holdup? I think everybody's on edge, and it's not the time to play these political games.
Exactly. It's a slap in the face to the United States, which has really stuck its neck out trying to get this deal through, while Hamas and Israel both try to break the terms of the ceasefire, right? You have Hamas executing perceived political opponents in Gaza, Israel conducting strikes in response. It's just very, very fragile and tenuous right now. And Trump has spent a significant amount of time during his presidency trying to negotiate an end to this war, time that could be better spent either trying to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict or, more importantly, dealing with domestic issues here in the United States. And so for him to put all of this effort in and to finally get to this point after 2 years of an intensely bloody conflict, for the Israeli Knesset to go out while Vance and Rubio are there to try to make this statement against the U.S., which is largely responsible for its ability to even conduct this war, thanks to our funding and our assistance with weapons, is just pure disrespect.
And I think that if you think about the actual move, most of the world has come forward and said, especially the Arab nations, that they think a two-state solution is the best way forward. Now, whether you agree with it or not, I don't think that in this moment, making a firm stance like that is the appropriate next step coming out of leadership in Israel.
Agreed. All right, coming up, the truck driver accused of causing a fatal crash in California this week has been arrested, and the DHS says that he was living in the U.S. illegally. Don't go anywhere.